guys, what is up and how are you? It's been a while, but EduSelf is back, and today we're going to be teaching components of fitness. There are two parts to components of fitness, the first being physical related and the second being skill related. Today we are only going to pay attention to the physical related components of fitness, so you're not overloaded with information. Skill related components of fitness will be looked at in another video, so let's kick it off. Now, I teach these in a certain order, and the reason being is because there is a method to remember them a lot easier. The EduSelf tip that comes in handy is to remember this phrase: fit men must sprint and bench. The reason to remember this phrase is because the beginning letter of each word represents the physical components of fitness. Fit equals flexibility, men equals muscular endurance, must equals muscular strength, sprint equals speed, and equals aerobic endurance, bench equals body composition. So now we have that tip, let's revise the definitions of each and talk about how they're applied. Flexibility is where a person has a high range of motion in all the joints of the body, has the ability to move a joint fluidly through its complete range of movement. Now the first example I want to talk about is simply gymnastics. The pommel horse, the vault, the floor routine, all of these events require athletes to be able to demonstrate a high range of motion in their joints to present themselves in the best way possible so that the judges can give them a high score. The second example is within martial arts. If an athlete is performing in the Taekwondo and wants to score high 2-pointers, they must be able to adjust their joints to reach their opponent's head, meaning they need a high range of motion at the joint. The next physical component to remember is muscular endurance. This is the ability of the muscular system to work efficiently, where a muscle can continue contracting over a period of time against a light to moderate fixed resistance load. A contraction is simply where there is tension in the muscle. To break this down and make it easier, if you're bench pressing, the pectorals, triceps and the deltoids are all contracting. It's the ability to keep those muscles contracting for a high amount of repetitions. A boxer needs a high level of muscular endurance, as during 12 rounds they are likely to throw hundreds of punches. This means that their muscles are contracting constantly for a long duration of time. And the next component of fitness is muscular strength. This is where the maximum force in kilograms or newtons is generated by a muscle or muscle group. Again, to keep it simple, I will use a fitness training exercise such as the bicep curl. This is an isolated movement, meaning that only one muscle is working. It is the maximum amount of weight that your bicep can contract within that movement. An easy sporting example to remember is a weightlifter within the Olympics. It's that performer's ability to exert the maximum force in all of the working muscles to get the weight above their head. Moving on, speed. This requires a very simple equation, and that is distance divided by the time taken equals meters per second. And that is how speed is measured, in meters per second. To make this even easier to understand, if you're not a fan of maths, the faster an athlete covers the distance from A to B, the higher their speed. There are three basic types of speed: accelerative speed, which lasts up to 30 meters, pure speed, which lasts up to 60 meters, and speed endurance, where sprints are longer than 60 meters with a short recovery period in between. Easy way to remember speed through a sporting example is the reason the world record holder, Usain Bolt, is the world record holder for the 100 and 200 meters is because he's able to cover that set distance much quicker than any other athlete. And now to revise aerobic endurance. This is the ability for a person's cardiorespiratory system to work efficiently, supplying the nutrients and oxygen to working muscles during sustained physical activity. There are alternative names for aerobic endurance, so if you see any of these, it's important to remember they simply mean aerobic endurance. Cardiorespiratory fitness, cardiorespiratory endurance, or aerobic fitness. The cardiorespiratory system is broken down into two sections. The first is the cardiovascular system. This includes the heart, blood, and the blood vessels. The second part of the cardiorespiratory system is the respiratory system, which includes the lungs and the airways. The cardiorespiratory system is responsible for the uptake of oxygen from the air we breathe, the transport of nutrients and the oxygen around the body, and the removal of waste products, which includes carbon dioxide. In terms of how a sports performer would use this, when you look at a marathon runner, they need the ability to keep their muscles supplied with oxygen and nutrients for a long period of time. Any sport which is considered over 30 minutes requires the use of aerobic endurance. And the final component of physical related fitness is body composition. This is the relative ratio of fat mass to fat-free mass, the vital organs, muscle and bone in the body. So it's the fat that is within your body compared to things within your body that cannot be fat, such as organs, your muscle, your bone and your skin. A sumo wrestler is going to want to have a higher fat ratio in his body to take control of his opponents compared to a 100-meter sprinter who wants a low fat ratio in his body so that they are not carrying unwanted weight to obtain their fastest speed. Well guys, this has been EduSelf. Sorry for the delay on this video, but I hope you have found this video breaking down the physical components of fitness helpful. Remember, there are two types of components of fitness, and skill related will be discussed and revised in another video. Remember that if you missed a section or did not quite understand it, then go back, pause it, review it and reflect on it using the animation to help you. Keep revising and remember to subscribe. New videos almost every week. See ya!